She covers the Browns for the PlainDealerCleveland.com. She's with us on a Wednesday because we had stuff that happened yesterday, and she said, sure, guys, I'll join you on Wednesday. She's Mary Kay Cabot. Hello, Mary Kay.
Hi, Mary Kay.
Hey, guys. How you doing?
We are fine. How are you? Because this is your time to relax a little bit before you know what really happens.
Oh, it's great. It's really so much fun to catch my breath here and spend some time with the family and enjoy the holidays. So, yeah, having a great time. Thanks.
Mary Kay, obviously big news from the state legislature, the governor giving the money to put this thing over the top to get the dome moving towards 2029. Have you been consulted on what the press box should look like?
Yeah.
Not yet, but I actually hope that they do that. The press boxes where teams have consulted with the local writers turn out to be some of the best ones. So hopefully they will do that.
Your thoughts on moving into a dome?
Well, it's going to be different. It's going to be really different. I'm going to have to give up my love for looking out. Now, it's easy for me to say from the press box, but I do sometimes love to look out at a snow game and see Jameis Winston making snow angels and different things like that. And Kareem Hunt, the time that he talked about how there were 4 different seasons that happened in the course of a football game. There's just funny things that happen like that are related to being outdoors and to the weather. And then I was just posting some pictures. It's my anniversary today, by the way.
Oh, happy anniversary.
Nice.
Yeah, thanks. My wedding anniversary. And I was just posting some pictures, and I have one of my husband and I from a hotel room with the stadium in the background on the lake. So I'm going to feel somewhat nostalgic about all of that kind of stuff. But I'm also for progress in a city. And, the Haslams and the Browns are convinced that this will be transformational for our region. And I'm excited about that because I'm so pro Cleveland. I'm so pro this area. Hopefully our lakefront will get developed and there will be some exciting things there. And this will turn out to be something really, really great for Cleveland. That's my hope because, again, this is my hometown. This is where I grew up. I absolutely love it here. And I want nothing more than everything to be wonderful for this entire region.
Hear, hear. We couldn't agree with you more. And so we're looking forward to seeing what happens. In the meantime, we have a lot of games to play in the old place with a team that needs some help right now. As we sit back and look at things and get ready for this season, the more national stuff you keep hearing, Mary Kay, the less the national folks think of this team's chances. Do you feel this is a rebuild, or do you think they're trying to? Because if they're trying to rebuild, they're not vocalizing that thought. Yet you've got 4 quarterbacks and you don't know which one's your starting quarterback, which screams rebuild or keep your fingers crossed to 2026.
Well, I think if it were a rebuild, they would have traded Myles Garrett. They had an opportunity to really maximize their ability to be in great shape for the future, and they didn't do that. So I think that says that they are trying to win now as much as they possibly can and just continue to establish or try to continue to establish a culture of winning. You look over at the Steelers, they don't have these years where they win 2 games or 3 games or 4 games. They continuously win football games. That's what the Browns want to do. You don't establish that culture by tanking or losing or any of those things. So I certainly don't think they're trying to do that. I think they want to win as many games as possible. And if you look at this roster, there are a lot of good players that are still on this roster. You look at the Myles Garretts, the Denzel Wards, the Grant Delpits, Martin Emerson, Joel Bitonio, Jack Conklin, David Njoku, Jerry Jeudy. The list kind of goes on and on there. There are a lot of Pro Bowlers on this football team, and I do not see a rebuild here.
Yeah, Mary Kay, I've struggled with that too when people are saying, well, they're playing for the draft next year. They got 2 first-round picks. They're hoping to, that's when they're going to get their quarterback. Don't you really think the answer, the question to this season, though, has got to be who will be their starting quarterback in 2026, and do they need to go draft another one? It bothers me when people say, well, they're not playing to win this year, and I'm hoping that one of these 4 guys can help them win.
Well, the thing is, Browns players even told us after the season was over. We feel like we are a quarterback away from winning. And what we don't know yet is, have the Browns landed that quarterback for this season that they can actually go out and win with? Now, we know that they won with Joe Flacco 2 years ago, but, that wasn't the toughest part of the schedule. He's a couple of years older now. So is he going to be able to go out there and win for them and not turn the ball over? We're not sure about that yet. And then Kenny Pickett, they believe that he can be something special, that he can be more than what he's been able to show so far, that he can be their version of a Sam Darnold or someone like that, a Jared Goff that excelled in their second or third chance. Can he be that? We don't know. And then the rookies, I don't think they're ready yet to start the season. We may see them in the second half of the season. So I think it's going to come down to either Joe or Kenny in the first part of the season. And that's the big question mark. Can they win with the Browns this season?
Mary Kay Cabot joining us from the Plain Dealer in Cleveland.com. Are you comfortable that the offensive line is good to go? My fingers are crossed about their health, Mary Kay, but everybody seems to be healthy, and I'm not thinking about DeJuan Jones even there. I'm thinking of the four older guys on the right side of DeJuan Jones. Everybody seem healthy and good to go?
Yeah, they certainly seem to be healthy and good to go. I think Jack Conklin, another year out from a major knee surgery. I think he'll even be stronger than he was. I was looking at some offensive line rankings the other day, and I can't remember even who it was. I don't know if it was Pro Football Focus or if it was CBS or ESPN. I'm not sure who it was, but they had the Browns at number 22 in offensive line. Well, when I look at that offensive line, I see 3 All-Pros. And how many football teams can say they have 3 All-Pros on their offensive line? So 3 All-Pros, a good center in Ethan Posick, and then DeJuan trying to nail down that left tackle job. So I don't think it's 22nd. I think I would probably put it in at least the top 12. So I think they're probably a little bit better than some people think they are.
We have this debate about wide receiver a lot here because Jeff thinks that they're what's the best? I don't want to put words in your mouth.
Lacking.
And I tend to agree with him, but can Deontay Johnson, Jerry Jeudy, and then Cedric Tillman give you a good base, just at least have 3 guys you can go in the season, and then we'll see what happens with the rest? Can you feel confident going into the season with those 3, or am I mixing my names up?
Well, I don't know that I would put Deontay Johnson as the number 2 with Jerry. I would put Ced there.
Okay.
So I think you're more so talking about Jerry, Ced. I think they're excited about what Jamari can bring to the table. They'll have to see how things go with Deontay Johnson. They have some other young guys that they like. But I do think that they could have used one more good receiver. But here's the thing. They are looking at it globally, and they feel that when they added Harold Fannin, they basically added to their pass-catching core. So that's why they're not looking at it really the same way that we are, and looking just at the receiver room per se and saying, it looks a little short. They've got David Njoku, they've got Harold Fannin, and this is going to be a very 2 tight end heavy offense, and sometimes 3 tight ends. So there might be times where it's hard to even get 2 wide receivers on the field at the same time. So as long as Jerry Jeudy stays healthy, and that's going to be the key, they should be okay with what they're trying to do with their passing game. But I would still be on the lookout for one more really good receiver.
Mary Kay, do you really believe that Deshaun could be back by October?
Well, there's so many things. Here's the thing that happens nowadays when you try to write something. People kind of blow things out of proportion, and people take things a little out of context. Mm-hmm. And the line in the column that I wrote about Deshaun Watson was that, some sources believe that he could possibly be ready to practice by October, but it remains to be seen if the Browns would even think about activating him that soon, so quickly after his second Achilles surgery. So, there is some thought. I think that Deshaun is probably optimistic that he can get out there and do that. We know that he is throwing the ball now to some receivers inside the field house. But I think that one, the part about how it remains to be seen if the Browns would even entertain the notion at all, that never got out there anywhere. When people aggregated what I wrote. So that's just something that we all have to deal with nowadays, is just the way people aggregate your work. And sometimes it's not always how we portrayed it.
Good. I'm glad you got a chance to clear that up.
Let me throw out two scenarios for you. Let's say he is healthy at some point mid-season, maybe, whatever, 9-10 games in, but somebody is playing well at quarterback. Does Deshaun ever see the field? And then let's flip it. If nobody has played well at quarterback, would he see the field?
I think it's an enormous, enormous long shot for him to see the field at all this year. I really do. I just don't really see it, because right now they've got 4 quarterbacks who are vying for playing time. And I would think that you'd probably have to blow through all 4 of those before you would get to putting Deshaun on the field. So unless something really drastic happens, I don't envision it this year. It's very, very soon after a revision of an Achilles surgery. And I think that they will probably proceed with caution.
All right. So we continue on with we're either going to say 5 or 4 in that quarterback, although Deshaun's going to be around the quarterback room the whole time. It's not like, right, as he was before. I mean, he's still in the group. When they talk about him during press conferences, it sounds like he's still very active and very involved too. So correct? I'm not wrong on that, am I?
No, he is. He's very involved. He's in the meeting rooms. He's been watching some practice. He's helping the 2 young guys a lot, just trying to get up to speed in the offense and with their terminology and pointing things out. And he's done a really, really nice job with that, to the point where the Browns are very, very happy with him in that regard. But he will start the season on the physically unable to perform list. I had that in the story that I wrote the other day. So
right.
Yes, he has to miss a minimum of 4 games, and then they have a 5-week window in which they decide whether or not to activate him after that for practice, not activate him, open his practice window for the next 5 weeks. And when they open the practice window, then they've got 21 days in which to decide whether or not to actually activate him to the roster. So there's a lot of time. They can max out at like 9 weeks or something like that. So there is a world in which he could be on the active roster just procedurally late November, early December, but that doesn't mean that it's going to happen.
Happy anniversary to you and your hubby.
Yes,
and thank you for your time.
Go have a nice dinner tonight.
I'm plan to do that. Thank you very much.
Charge it to Cleveland.com.
Don't know. I was going to charge it to 92.3.
Wait a minute. Wait a minute.
There's plenty of 92.3s across the country. Knock yourself out.
Just send it to Andy. Thank you, Mary Kay.
Thanks, guys.
Mary Kay Cabot.